Welcome to another Team Berserk deck profile. Here we got Frank Newcomb's Android 18 mill list here that got ninth at the Carta Magica Regionals. Frank, take it away with this deck list.
Appreciate that, Lucas. Yeah, as he said, I got ninth place with Android 18 mil. 6-1 finish. Breakers was a little bad, but so I'm not going to go over the leader completely. People have beaten this leader into the ground now, so you kind of pretty much know what it does. So I'll just jump right into the deck. So as the bread and butter works for Android 18, you run 4 of the Friezas full power negate. 4 of the Friezas full power overdrive. Yeah. So this is the card that's going to win you your game. He's essentially the one that's going to be able to negate all the battle cards on the board from the clone tokens that you give him and the battle cards that they play. This card will be able to mill your opponent out in one fell swing. The target of this deck is to essentially mill a person out by between turn 4 and turn 6 is usually around when you would win. And of course, the way you're playing out the full power Frieza, because this is a mono blue deck, is the Rebirth to Justice. Pretty simple card, 4 costs, activate main, play a mono blue battle, or play a battle card blue in your hand for 5 costs or less. So going into the staples, into what makes this deck works. So we have 4 of the Android 16 for his mother. Very difficult card to get off the board unless you warp. So Black's able to deal with it. But it's an activate main, play it from your hand or drop area by removing a clone, and he essentially doubles your clone token generation for your opponent. So instead of your opponent getting 2 from the field, they're going to get 4 from this guy. Going into the next one is going to be the Unison. The Unison is going to make it where your opponents really can't attack with those clones. The Android 16 does that effectively. However, if they remove the Android 16, then the clones are going to have free reign. However, if they remove this Unison, it's not going to matter because the +2 is preventing the clones from being able to attack. And this Unison's great because you can essentially play him on turn 1 if you went second, or turn 2 obviously for no energy because he comes out for just eating a clone that you just gave your opponent. Going into the counterplays of the deck, what really makes this deck be able to get to turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 is of course the counterplays. So we run 3 trunks. I played around with 4 because the Unison can come out so early. 4 really isn't a bad number, but I like 3. And the reason I run 3 is because I also go with the Android 18, let the battle begin. I feel like this card is very slept on. I don't see it in many decks, especially Android 18 decks. So this card is a 15k blocker, which is great in general because it's going to be able to stop another attack. She is counterplay, play this card, then if the battle card being played is 4 costs or less, it's played at the bottom of their deck instead. And 4 costs is steep, however the permanent is if your leader's an android or a heroine and you have a specified cost 2 or more Unison in play, and it's your opponent's turn, you reduce her cost in your hand by 3, effectively making her a 1 cost. So great value play, really good way to make sure certain 1 costs don't hit the board. I don't know the name of them, but the ones that if you restand an energy, chuck a life and energy, those. They all have barriers, so they're harder to deal with, so the sheet helps.
I've got a question for you there with that Android 18. Do you feel like you use her more than the Trunks for the majority of the game? I know the Trunks is specifically there for green decks having Frieza counterplay, which can wipe your Frieza as soon as it gets down, and that Trunks prevents it from being played, which is a pain in the ass because now you're both locked out of counterplays for the turn, and that's pretty much your Frieza is getting a guaranteed swing. But early game, do you find yourself using the Trunks more or the Android 18 more?
So early game, Android 18 100%. Even against a lot of matchups, later game, Android 18 100%. Because she deals with a lot of the threats that Trunks puts back to their hand. You deal with it on turn 4, let's say they went first. You deal with it on turn 4, you send it back to their hand with Trunks. You're still going to have to deal with it the next turn as well. So Trunks is great for those big plays or that turn that you really just kind of need to stop them so you can win. But Android 18 puts in the work. She takes a card, she puts it at the bottom of their deck. You're not going to see it. So those Zamasu counter plays, those things are annoying. And even against the Frieza, they'll hit the board and tap down a battle card. Well, this one's going to put it at the bottom of the deck. And just about anything else you can think of that doesn't have deflect and that costs 4 or less. But yeah, she's an amazing counterplay, and I've contemplated going up to 3 with her. So I'll continue going into the rest of the deck. So the super combos, of course, we're just going to run 4 Vegetas. The name of the game is to draw the pieces that you want, and you want to get them as fast as you can, and draw into the negates that you want. So Vegeta's is going to help you cycle through that deck and draw that much more. Speaking of cycling as well, I do run 2 cells. So Cell's just great in general to help you draw more. He's a placeholder that helps you get through the combos, and on your Awaken side, if you have 2 Cells sitting in your hand, you can just activate her ability to reduce that combo cost and get 2 free draws. So it just helps you, again, thin through the deck. So I'll go into the negate package besides the counterplays. So it's pretty simple. 4-dimension magic. I mean, blue leader, you're trying to get to later games. It's essential. And then the other one, which comes from this set, this is the reason I actually think this deck's more viable as a mono blue now than in previous sets, is I run 4 an unlikely protector. I think that right there in general is an amazing negate, especially going into the fact that there are more counters that are existing in the game and that are meta relevant. King Cold, for example, everyone knows the play. So Unlikely Protector is permanent. This card's skills can't be negated in any area, and it costs 1 as counterplay, negate the attack. Then if your opponent has any tokens in play in their battle area, switch up to 1 mono blue energy to active mode, which your opponent always has tokens because you gave it to them.
Which is, yeah, a disgusting play for basically a Whis coercion that can't be negated.
Exactly, and like I said, with this current meta of people playing Cooler's counter or the SCR counter to be able to have their unison come in, to main deck this card is amazing, and it really kind of gets them thinking. It slows down their play, it makes it where you can deal with them to the turn that you need to get to. So I think this is just a insane negate for this deck. And then, of course, from EB, we got 2 Shield Army reinforcements because how can you not? I mean, great negate, cut yourself, give you a blocker. It's a token, so it doesn't eat up the Android 21 scheme because that one specifically says non-token. So you can do that on the first negate, play the blocker, and they haven't gotten rid of the summoning sickness. So again, another one that really comes in handy. And then the blue SCR. If you're playing a blue leader, you're running that SCR. That's a no question. So as I mentioned again, the Android 21 scheme, the summoning sickness to the first battle card that enters, that applies to both players. So you want to be able to play a battle card before you play your Frieza, or else you can't attack. This deck has 3 ways of being able to do that. One is through the Android 16 for his mother. In case your opponent was able to remove it, then you can play it from the drop and have that eat up as the first one. The second way is Destined Krillin. I play 3 of them. He's from set 2, so the older common card. As a permanent, if you have an Android 18 in your battle area or leader area, you can play him for free. And he's the blocker, which is great because it comes in handy early game as well. Second one is I run 2 Bardock Awaken Instinct. Over on 4, free cost, draw 2, discard 1. Your field card says when you play a black card, place it in its owner's drop area. It does not say instead. So the Bardock will hit, you'll draw the 2, discard 1, then the Bardock will go to your drop. But it'll count as the first battle card played, so you don't have to worry about the summoning sickness. So those are the plays that you're going to get into your Frieza to be able to win. So the reason why I think this deck did well is I did have a little bit of extra spice, as a lot of people like to say, that I added in the deck. I ran 1 hit in Cold Bloodlust. I think the number's 2. That's just because exists.
I loved seeing that. That was, as soon as I saw that, you're just like, well, just in case anybody brings this nerfed Vajex, I got this in store. I'm just like, damn, I didn't even think about that.
Exactly. And sad thing is, my only loss was against Vajex. Great player. Carlos did really well. But I didn't see the card, nor did I draw into any of my negates. So I drawed poorly, which sucks, but it happens. So I think this number will be going up to 2 because Vajex is just the thing. Mill's doing too well, and you have to address it. So hitting Cold Bloodlust, 7 cost, triple strike, 30k. I'll refresh people's memory in case you don't remember what it does. So it has a permanent, reduce its energy cost by 1 for every blue and or yellow battle card in play. So that's the key. You need to get 2 blue and or yellow battle cards out in play, whether it be Android 16 or Android 18 or whatever it may be. You just need 2, reducing them down to a 5 cost. When he's a 5 cost, you can now play him off a Rebirth to Justice, and that's how you're going to play him. When he gets played, it's auto. You play this card, flip your opponent's leader card to the front. If you do, your opponent can't activate their leader card's Awaken or Wish skill until the end of the turn. Essentially putting Vajex back on its front side, making it where you can mill him. So you do that, you negate through a turn, and then you win on turn 5. So which is the play. And then lastly, I'm going to go into the MVP of this weekend. I added this in because the problem with the Frieza deck is that he can be countered. He can be dealt with whether you're playing Trunks. Anytime you run into blue, you need to expect they have Trunks in hand. So I've been playing this deck a lot, and I figured this would be the way, and it is the MVP. I won all 6 of my games this weekend off of the back of this combo. So I run 3 of Baby the Unknown Parasite. Great card. +2 draw card. Activate main. If your leader is a mono blue, if your leader is a mono blue, choose up to one of your leader cards. It gets plus 15,000 power and double strike for the turn. And then until the start of your next turn, you can activate mono blue cards with counter skills from your hand by discarding 2 instead of paying its cost. So that right there is the key. Who cares about the double strike? So you play this out on turn 4, +2 to bring it up to 5. Put 1 underneath it if you want to, bring it up to 6, and then negate your opponent's whole next turn, whether it's through Baby Hatch, Dimensiomatic, whatever you do. You protect this like it's key. Turn 5, you go player energy -5, and the reason you do that is for the Baby Golden Avenger. In this counter meta, he is amazing. And like I said, this combo right here won me all 6 of my games. I would go turn 4, Baby Unison. Turn 5, play out one of my free plays, -5 ability, Rebirth to Justice. I got hit with Trunks. I got hit with Zamasu. I got hit with Petrification. None of it mattered because it all got countered. And won me the game. But yeah, this is essentially my deck. I hope you guys like it. And maybe we'll be able to play against you sometime in a regional. So take care.
Oh, awesome deck list. Before you go, you got to flex that Team Berserk token.
Oh, yes. That's right.
Cam, yeah.
So as I have sitting here next to the leader, like some people see, so I had to get the custom tokens made up. Love the clone, and then of course, need to have the flex on Team Berserk.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to my deck list there, guys.